start recording. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Do we have anyone? I'm gonna post the announcement. Hello. There's one announcement. There's the second announcement.
Hi. Yeah, what's up, Jack?
Hello. Bird. Yeah, Jack is saying bird, which is correct. We'll get into that in seconds once I finish posting those announcements. Can you hear us fine? Is the audio okay? Posting in the announcement, and one more announcement. Post. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Resonance. This is a very special edition, you know, compared to like the previous. Well, this previous one was also special. The previous was special in a way that led to this one being special in a different way. So last week you guys gave us 150 subs, which was very unexpected but very welcome, and you demanded bird. And you know, we sat down. We were like, you know, how much of a bird will 150 subs warrant? And so this stream, we're bird. We're definitely birds. You know, like as can be evidenced, you know, by the beak. Like, you know, the beak moves with the mouth, like as a real bird would be. Which we, you know, this is what we are. We are a real bird. It's also evidence, you know, we have feathers, so we can, you know, what are feathers used for? Oh right, wait, it's flying. As is evidence, you know, if I just take the camera and if I like zoom out a little bit, you can see we're like actually in middle of air, you know, because like we do like flap, like flap, like, you know, flying. This is how birds work. So we're definitely legit birds.
Yes.
You know, it was based on Bob's, like it was like $250 something worth of revenue from the subs. So split between the two people, this is how much bird that gets you. It's like, you know, but in case that's not enough, we actually have a little bit extra treat. In case you want even more bird, there's been one flying around somewhere. Oh, there we go. Look, we got another bird.
Oh, we got a...
Welcome, say hello to Yellow Decoy.
Yellow Decoy.
It's Yellow Decoy. Also, I'm Bird Xeus, and this is Bird Cyro.
Yeah, I'm Bird Cyro.
And this is Yellow Decoy, otherwise known as Godly.
Yes, Yellow Decoy, that's me.
Yep. Decoy.
So,
and I'm going to clap like this the entire stream.
Oh my, wait, are you actually clapping your hands?
Yes.
Oh my god. You're gonna get a workout. That's gonna be some concentration, so... Anyway, welcome to the special edition Resonance, the Birdsonance. This is the bird edition of the Resonance, where we are totally real birds, just as, you know, that real bird over there. So real. Welcome. So real. Flap.
I'm flapping, right? This is flapping.
Yeah, this is flapping. Like, see, Sarah's using a special technique called, it's like, you know, if you watch any anime, you know how they like take the sword and they just do like, and they just do things so fast you barely see them do that. It's like, Cyrus is so good at being a bird. That's what he's doing. He's flapping so fast. He's like a hummingbird.
Yeah, I'm a hummingbird.
He's a hummingbird. He's flapping so fast that, you know, you can't even see it. And we're actually running on the Reprerelease, so like we're like, you know, running smoother than we otherwise would have. But like, you know, hummingbird, it's like thousands of flaps, you know, per second, and we're not quite there yet. Like we'll need to wait for .NET
27.
Yes. We need to wait for .NET 27 for that. But we're definitely birds, and we are here to answer any questions you might have about the Resonite. You can pretty much ask, like, you know, anything, whatever you would like to know, whether it has to do with development of the platform, its future, its past, whatever the team. You can ask us personal questions too, like if you want to get us know a little bit more. We also, since we have a special guest Godly, you can even direct some questions to him as well. The only thing, make sure. Oh my god, yes. Tripuholics is like FPS flaps per second. You see, like you need higher FPS to be able to see Cyro's extremely fast flaps.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was saying, if you were gonna ask like any questions, make sure to put a question mark at the end of it. That way, it's gonna pop on our thing here. So if I just switch the camera and I just show you over here, you see like there's already questions. There's already questions. There's other questions popping up, so we're going to be going into these in a little bit. But we also have some questions from Discord. But if you're watching this live, like don't ask questions in Discord anymore. We're not monitoring it. That's just in advance questions. We're gonna give a little bit of time to for the questions to pile up on Twitch, and as we go through the Discord ones, while answering them in bird form. So. With that, let's get started. Actually, are we forgetting anything? Do we have anything more?
Tweet.
Tweet? Tweet.
Yeah.
Bird stream.
Yay!
Hey.
Thank you for the raid. Okay, let's get started with actual questions. I'm gonna fix the camera so it's not like floating around, which it matches the bird, but like it makes things a little bit harder to read. So we do need to. We're making the camera perch. The camera's perching midair, which it can do because the camera is also a bird.
Yeah, we can't show you that though, because we don't. Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it because the beak is cold. Like the beak is literally on the lens, and like if it wasn't cold, you would just see inside of a beak, and that wouldn't be like that wouldn't be conducive to seeing us being birds. So anyway, the first question we have is hold on, let me adjust this. The first question we have is from Phoenix. Phoenix is asking, protoflux can be pretty complex, with food counts included like endless synchronous while loops, being easily accessible, and a lot of it can be unintuitive if you don't have comp science background to recognize the underlying paradigms. What ideas does the Resonite team have to improve user-friendliness and vulnerability of protoflux? So there's like a few things in that question, I feel. One of them, the first thing I would say is I don't think you actually need computer science background to understand protoflux. We got a lot of users who don't have a background, who are programming and creating amazing things. We got people users who are who actually learn programming through protoflux, but we also get users who come from other programming backgrounds. And generally, I feel it comes down to just understanding programming, which on itself it's a learning process. It's not something you just get instantly. If you look at classical programming languages, say C, C++, C#, Python, whatever language, the things you mentioned, for example, infinite loops, you can do in those as well. So it's not something that we do specific to protoflux. With that said, there's a number of things that can be done to make it easier to learn, which is, making tutorials, being able to learn it step by step. And I actually feel that by having a programming language that's sort of embedded in a interactive world like this, that makes the learning easier because you can immediately see the output. Because if you've ever learned from resources like the classical languages, oftentimes you just write console applications that print something out, and it can be fairly unengaging and boring. Versus having it where you plug something in and it changes color, it moves around, and there's cool things, that makes it a lot more engaging. And we've kind of seen people learn that way. The other part that I've noticed people are doing is when somebody makes a cool tool, they'll take it apart. They'll see how it's programmed, they'll unplug the protoflux, they make modifications to it, and that's also really good for the learning process. So making it easier to sort of share creations, say for example the workshop, that might help with that too. People can find cool gadgets, they can take them apart, make their own versions, learn through the process. For the protoflux itself, we definitely do want to improve a lot of the interactions for it. So for example, making it easier to find nodes, making more contextual actions, giving user more feedback as we kind of building things. for some of the things, like for example the while loops, like there's a mechanism, but it was actually broken, and I only found it on pre-release, where if you end up like making a like infinite loop, there's a like sort of watchdog mechanism that breaks it, you know, so like you freeze for a bit, but then like, you know, it unfreezes and like should mark the nodes red. That part still needs to be added because right now it'll just shut down the world. But for example, you know, we want to make change like where it just marks the nodes red, be like this was stuck in a infinite loop, so it makes you you know, shoot yourself in a foot or claw a bit less. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any more thoughts on this one?
I think you covered it pretty well. I think
Yeah, you got
Protoflux, like the most exciting thing to me is seeing people come in without much of a programming background and just kind of playing around with it and screwing around. And sure, they might make some mistakes and you know, there might be some crashes or something, but they just have fun and they're learning programming in the process, which is like, that's awesome.
I feel like it's kind of part of the experience. Is like, you know, when you're like learning programming, like you'll make things that explode. We just make it we make the explosions a little bit more contained.
Yes.
But it's like,
Chaos.
that's one of my favorite things, is just seeing people like, you know, like learning naturally.
Yeah, for sure. And trust me, even after 18 years of programming, you still make things explode sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that happened quite a bit, even with the pre-release. It's part of the job. Anyway, next question is from Charismare. What made you interested in creating Resonite? Did you take inspiration from other sandbox titles such as Minecraft? So there's actually a lot of things that kind of come like, you know, into Resonite. Like I like to say there's like a bunch of like things I really wanted to do that all sort of converged into one. And there actually should be a video. Ooh, oh my god, thank you. What was the? Thank you for the cheer. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. There's like, it should be like a longer video, so I'm probably not gonna go super into depth because it's kind of covered like on the previous resonances. But Minecraft was actually one of the inspirations, and one of the aspects of Minecraft I really liked is like, you know, well, it's the game itself, where, you know, it's this kind of sandbox experience, you can build a lot of kind of cool stuff. Part I really love about Minecraft, you know, is its modding community, because I've seen like people make like the most insane mods, like completely changing the game without like, you know, being able to like, without having actually access to the engine, and having to sort of, you know, decompile stuff and work around it. So one of my thinking was like, what if the engine was, you know, made so you can access everything in-game, everything's, you know, just accessible. What kind of cool stuff could people make? So that was definitely one of the inspirations, but there were like a number of others as well. And I do recommend like watching that video if you want a little bit more in depth.
You know, like the Minecraft world in Border.
Oh yeah, I mean, that came like later. And next question's from Zenuru. Zenero's asking, with the splitting pre-release being available for just over a month now, how do you feel about people already working on their own renders? There's ongoing effort to make Renderite in Godot over rendering discussion and can even run in VR. It's really cool. Like, it's always like funny, like, you know, seeing, because like I'm kind of like working, just making like this kind of like work. But seeing people like, you know, take that work and like build on top of it and do like a lot of like cool stuff. And seeing how it, you know, performs in those different kind of scenarios, that's like it's very like exciting. In some cases also like surprising, like, you know, how much people can get, like, you know, in this amount of time. And I think it actually helps us a lot because we do eventually want to, like, you know, switch away from Unity for a different like official render. So like a lot of this kind of work, I feel it's kind of it's gonna help, like, you know, that process. Because we can see, you know, this is how it runs, you know, with this render, this is how it runs with this render, these are the challenges, you know, maybe with this particular render. So when we are deciding which render we want to go with, we have, like, you know, kind of resource, like, in the community to tap into, and we're kind of like a bit like thinking about like making the new render more kind of community source as well. But there's kind of something that's gonna happen after like splitting, because there's like, we need to like put stuff together, we need to put, like, you know, requirements, what do we need and so on. But it's been definitely giving me a lot more kind of is going to give a little more like weight to the, to that consideration is like that we could like make this render switch more of a community effort, and essentially like help get help like bringing us or moving us away from Unity completely. So yeah, it's been very exciting.
I keep meeting people in the pre-release running the Godot renderer, and it has like every time I see someone in there on it, it has moved further along. Like it has become more advanced, like closer to rendering things as they currently are.
Yes.
So seeing how quickly that's moving is pretty wild.
I think someone's also making a render in SDL3's GPU backend, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
They're doing it in Zig.
Oh, I've heard about that one too. It's very cool. It also makes me like, like one of the things that like we've been leaning more and more into is, making things more community based, because I feel like community and like, the stuff you guys like do, that's like one of the greatest strengths of Resonite. And for example, like, when we kind of reworked the, say like, introduced the entity interfaces, that was actually motivated by community making their own video players, just building like with like whatever primitives or like or even like using the old video player, which was kind of very clunky, but like building a better version of it. So the thinking was, let's just introduce sort of interfaces, so both our own art team can like make a new video player in game and make like a really cool one, but also gives everyone else the power, to make your own. Either like modify the default one if you want to add some functionality, if you want to change something, or make completely new one from scratch. And I feel doing more of that, like giving more tools and leaning more into like everyone in the community being able to like build the pawn, the engine, and build a lot of cool stuff that's accessible then to other community people. Like that's gonna be like one of our greatest strengths like going forward. And the work on the renders, like I feel that's just another example of that. So I'm very excited. Let's see. Next question's from our boy. Our boy is asking, do you think that stuttering or long freezing when joining a large populated world will ever be fixed or mitigated with loading screen or something? I tried to get a friend new to VR to try Resonite, but it was too much for them and they had to take it off after swapping worlds a few times. So there's actually, we're running on the pre-release right now, and like one of the like big improvements is like stuff like stuttering is like way lower. Like things like load way faster, the stuttering is like the hitches are lower. So I think like that alone like should help a lot like with situations like this, making things like more comfortable. There's actually a quote I got like from Smoin, like he said like the pre-release is the most comfortable lagging he ever had. That said, I don't think like completely eliminating all hitches and stuttering, like eliminating 100% of them is like ever gonna be possible, because there's so many possible sources of them, and eliminating like all of them, like that's gonna be like it's pretty much like near impossible. However, that doesn't mean like we cannot significantly improve things, and even with even like once the splitting is done, there's still like a number of things we can do where we smooth out like a lot of the loading processes. We do more like kind of multi-thread updating for worlds. So for example, when a world is loading in, there's like part that happens synchronously and it kind of freezes you for a bit. We can split it off so it like runs on background thread until it's all good and ready. So that could help improve things quite a bit. And there's actually one change that's on the board for post-splitting, which will make the renderer just keep rendering new frames when the main engine hitches. So like you might hitch a little bit, but then like you can still look around. The stuff will stop moving, so like things will be frozen, but like you will be like you will still get like new frames, and there's gonna be probably like indicator saying like oh, the engine is like the engine is solved. But that should hopefully improve like how comfortable things feel. So while we're not be like ever gonna be eliminate like 100% of them, like there's definitely like a lot that we can do to help improve it. But the important thing is also like, they're like the hitching. It's not like it's like one bug. It's essentially like lots and lots of like different things that can all cause a hitch. So it's not like a single thing that can be like fixed, but there's gonna be multiple kind of contributing factors, and we can focus on fixing like or mitigating the most common ones. Let's see. Next question is from Missing. Missing is asking, what's actually located at the address that's written on YDMS website? Do you have an actual physical location? Me and some other users started painting a big loopy at that spot in W place, and only after starting realized that there might actually be nothing there. So the address that is listed, it's something called a virtual office. And for companies like ours, like, where we pretty much all remote, like we're working from our homes, that's usually kind of the best approach, because if you're a registered business in Czechia, you need to have an address. And the address must be, approved for use for a business. And you can technically use your home address for it, but like it's very strongly advised against doing that. Like you should almost like never use like your home address as your business address, because there's just lots of complications that stem from that. But to solve that problem, especially for companies that like don't really rely on physical location, there are these other companies that provide something called virtual offices. And what it is, for essentially a relatively small yearly payment, they will say that your business can be found at the address. So they usually have, like, in case like you want to do meetings like at the location, they have like rooms that can be rented. So like if you want to meet specifically at the business address, you can go there, but they also handle mail. So if like if we get official mail that arrives at the physical address, they will essentially scan it and they will forward it to us, or they will in case they cannot scan it, if it's something that has to be received by us, they will forward it to whatever address we want. So that way it's sort of like it's a way to kind of fulfill the legal obligation of having physical address without like needing to have physical offices of our own, which would be a lot more expensive to rent and maintain. And usually with virtual offices, like there'll be a lot of different businesses who are going to be located at that address, because one of the benefits is like a lot of businesses that don't need a physical location like that, they can pool the place. So you'll probably find a lot of other businesses that are located at the same address. Next question is from Papaltine. Is there a reason why some protoflex nodes take in some parameters using inputs while others use globals? As an example, I'm looking at a couple of nodes that do similar things: file while true, which is updating user global, and fire on true, which was only for user input. Why do they pass in the user value differently? Would you consider unifying APIs to be more consistent? Why and why not? So yes, there's a big reason for that, and it kind of depends on how those nodes register with events. Because with globals they will never change during evaluation phase. Essentially, once you set global, that value is kind of propagated and is also expected not to change very often. It can change every frame, but it's expected not to change very often, and it never can change during evaluation. Because of that, the node can actually make an assumption while it can make an assumption that this value is not gonna change. If you're evaluating the node, the value is not gonna change. And it allows to implement certain optimizations. So for example, with the ones that where you use user as a global, it actually registers events with that user, so it can more efficiently handle those events instead of checking all the time for every single user. Something like fire on true, if it accepts the input as actual input on the node, the value of that input is not going to be known until the node is actually running and evaluating. What that means is if the value is changing, literally every user in the session has to run the node has to evaluate what user should be handling this value, and then deciding like how it continues. But that's like a lot less efficient. However, it is more dynamic, which means you can even run the node like in a loop, and each iteration of the loop it actually gives it a different input, so the node can change its behavior. So having it as an input is essentially more dynamic, but it doesn't allow for certain optimizations, because if you don't know what the value is until the node gets evaluated, you cannot hook into events, because you don't know who are you gonna hook into events, because you don't know until whatever impulse actually happens. With the globals, it allows to do that kind of optimization where it's like, okay, I'm gonna be only like sending events for the specific user or the specific source, so I'm just gonna register all the events, and I'm just gonna wait for that system to send me an event, and then I'm gonna evaluate. Because of that reason, it's also never gonna be unified. We can maybe like provide like both versions, but we cannot unify it without making some of the nodes like very heavily unoptimized, because they would have to be like just constantly checking on every single user if they should be updating or not. And next question is from Ozzy. With the splitting showing pretty dang good progress, is there consideration on how, when you want to drop the update, the major blockers are cleared up? It was mentioned before with the splitting having marketing push and the like. Is it planned to have that happen alongside the release, or is it getting the update out of the door more preferred? So we pretty much like as soon as like all the blockers are like out of the way, we're gonna push this to release, so it's gonna be available to everyone, and like that's kind of like where the work on the marketing push like is gonna start, like where various like influencers, they can start like making content, and just starting kind of pushing it out. Usually the way we approach things, and we've done this for audio, we've done this for photon dust, and lots of like other pre-releases before, is when it hits the main, that's usually not the end of it. Usually we get like a number of other like issues that prop up. There's like some bugs that don't get discovered during the pre-release testing. Usually the pre-release like they tend to be more minor ones, so they don't tend to be ones that are catastrophic that make things unusable, but there's still like stuff that crops up. So we will be like doing a bunch of kind of cleanup. And also doing some of the post-splitting tasks, like some additional optimizations, like, for example, switching some of the libraries, updating some of the libraries. So as like, the marketing push is going on, there's still going to be additional updates for the splitting and additional sort of, cleanup. But right now the goal is pretty much, get it out of the door as soon as possible, get it like, into everybody's hands, get everybody, cool like performance improvements, and start like making a lot more buzz about it as we kind of continue improving things. Oh wait, there's like a collide. Oh no, there's a collider. I can't grab that one. Oh, I did. Thank you.
Bird stream.
The birds, because we're birds, we can just fly. We can just I have to flap a little bit more, because this is how it works. I charge up, and that way I don't fall. There we go. Okay, this should be enough. Thank you. Next question is, that is a big one. Yosh, this technical question that's relevant to me making mod-related texture decoding encoding is just general curiosity, because there's no binary 16 floating point in a framework. Element score currently uses half precision floating point polyfill. I think this is from GitHub gist. However, Net5 adds native half precision loading pointing type. Would it perhaps be goalpost splitting to switch to using built-in half precision floating point type instead of one in element score? I only ask because I don't see tracking GitHub issue about it. Oh yeah, that's actually, we do want to switch to the native one. Actually, there's been when I implemented the new mesh upload, I actually added like a thing which will store the UVs as half precision to save VRAM. But because like we use the polyfill that you blinks, it doesn't actually have like super good implementation for conversions from floats to half, and it ends up like introducing too much error due to like rounding errors and whatever. And as a result, like a lot of the meshes, like we got like back reports, like where the UVs would be just kind of skewed. They would be kind of poor quality. So I had to switch it back to floats, which uses double the amount of VRM, but like doesn't have the weird rounding errors. However, the official one in .NET actually has a way better algorithm that's specifically designed to avoid these kind of rounding errors and produce like much better conversions. It should also have like much better kind of performance because they spend a lot of time. Like I think the whole conversion, like the algorithm, I looked at the source code because I was like thinking about porting it for a little bit. But the whole source code, like the conversion is like branchless, so it can execute like super fast. So once the splitting is done, like we do want to switch, probably make an issue so we don't forget. But yeah, that switch is gonna happen either way. And the last question, Kirabishu, I would actually say don't make it the issue before this one. Just we'll probably make one of our own. Or we can actually make one. Either way works. As the last question from Kolorkatuk, I don't know how to pronounce it. Kolorkatuk is asking, how do I make the Eldritch texture stop staring at me when making a render? It has 4 eyes and it's making me a bit uneasy. What does it want? This is very simple. The Eldritch texture just wants to see you. And the problem is, if it's developing more eyes, is that it cannot see you. You need to allow yourself to be seen by the Eldritch texture. Because as long as it cannot see you, it's gonna keep adding more eyes because it thinks it needs more eyes to see you. So simply allow yourself to be seen by the Eldritch texture. That will make the Eldritch texture satisfied and the eyes will go away. But as long as you remain unseen by the Eldritch texture, it'll keep adding eyes until those eyes see you. You can think of it, as a plant. If a plant, doesn't have enough nutrients, it's gonna grow more roots, it's gonna grow more leaves, it's gonna grow, more petals, so it can gather more resources. It's the same for the Eldritch texture. Seeing you is a resource that powers the Eldritch texture. It needs to see you to live. So as long as you remain unseen, it will keep growing more eyes. It's very simple. Just let yourself be seen and the eyes will go away.
Very simple.
It's so simple.
I have an urge to make a Bloodborne reference.
I don't know what that is. I've heard about it, but I never played it. Anyway, that's all the questions from Discord, so we should be able to start going through the Twitch ones. So the first question from Ace on Twitch: where is Decoy? We have Yellow Decoy.
I'm right here.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, they're right here. What are you talking about?
I actually have and we also have 2 questions next, which are sort of related. Come on, let me scale them together. So we have Ace on Twitch is asking Bert Schnoppet, or Schnoppet, or however you pronounce it, and Bert Hypunks. And all I'm gonna answer is Kia birds. They're really cool birds. They're very smart, but they're also they like to pester people a lot. So they're both Typunks because they're like very smart birds, and smart birds are cool. But they will pester you. So they also Schnoppet.
Are they anything like crows or ravens?
Yeah, they're very they're kind of on that level, of like smartness. But I think unlike crows and ravens, like they will oftentimes they'll just destroy your houses. Like people like in New Zealand, I've heard they have to Kia proof their houses because they'll get into everything. They're super curious. And they'll be tearing your housing lines, and they'll if there's a cable, they'll tear it out. If there's anything if you have an antenna on your house, they'll bite it and tear it off because they're curious what it is. So they're very very pesky, but also very smart.
That's my favorite combination of traits.
Yeah,
I like ravens and stuff and crows.
Ravens and crows are super cool too.
They have a concept of fun.
Yeah. But Kia, I feel the Kia parrots embody both Taipongs and Schnoppet at the same time. So there we go. One we we killed two birds with one stone.
Wow. Well, we have three
No.
birds here.
3 birds. Okay.
We'll need at least
Yeah,
half
we
of
need-
another stone.
We know. Oh, it's okay because Ace also asked Taipongs. So we have two. It's a technical 3 birds with one stone then, because that's the same question. So it works out.
All right, I'll let it slide this time.
Jack the Fox Otter's asking, did you already complete the Avali starter pack, making custom nameplates to show your name in Scratch? Huh?
A volley scratch.
Yeah, it's the language that, like the written language that Avalis use.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that, unfortunately.
I only know the numbers. I definitely don't know the alphabet.
Yeah.
It literally is just like refined chicken scratch is what it looks like.
Oh my god. Yeah, we're very new to being birds. Like, we're definitely, real birds. So we still need to go to a bird school
Yes.
to learn bird things.
I'm normally bird adjacent at best.
Next question's from Moonbase. Your pre-release stream? Yes, we're on the pre-release. It's getting like very stable, and it's kind of weird because this is like technically this is the first time I've actually been properly in VR outside of like testing on the pre-release because I keep missing all the cool. Oh my god!
That's not a. That's,
Oh, I thought it was the stream.
Nobody donated. It's fine.
I literally every single time I was like on a pre-release, I would be either in desktop because I'm all like while I'm in desktop I'm still like working on stuff, and I wouldn't jump into VR and there's like a bunch of like cool testing events happening. Like yesterday there was like the Buzzers that Koza was hosting, and actually me and Garda, we were like in the Blood on Clock Tower and we were like, oh, Buzzers we're like, we wanna go, but game. We can't leave the game. And then when the game ended, like the Buzzers ended.
Yeah, the Basilisk had shut down like a few minutes before our game ended, and we're like, nah!
No, and I miss all the cool like testing things. And then like I saw like a message from Koza. He was like, apparently he ran into some kind of dual core like machine. He was like, done now, server too weak.
Yeah, the server itself was having more problems than the actual like server software.
I mean, he ran into he said like some kind of like machine here at home, like that has just 2 cores.
It's a VM with like
Oop.
1 core and 1 thread allocated to it.
Oh no. But I hope there's gonna be more. Next question's from Navy 3001. So what's your ETA for the pre-release to enter live? I think there is a chance of it happening, this upcoming week. We'll still have to see because, like, there's a number of issues. Most of them seem kind of small, like that, like we can kind of sort through them. But stuff always happens, so these things can be difficult to predict. But like we're getting very close. Like a lot of the issues that were like definitely major blockers, ones that like where things are unstable, they're like exploding, or like somebody's VR is like not working at all. Those are like all pretty much seem to be eliminated, so most of the issues like are like more minor issues, like like some specific things don't work quite right, and I think like a lot of them can be kind of knocked out relatively quick. But I also thought that about some of the other issues, and then they're like being rabbit holes, so it's hard to say, but it's getting very, very close. Next question's from BD_. When do you think the flapping will launch? Right now.
If not yellow decoy gets his way, tomorrow.
What? See, this is the flapping. We flap, so we can keep like flying in the air. This is how birds work. Like you have to charge your flying meter with the flapping, and then like it's charged up. You can rest for a little bit, but you have to make sure like your flapping meter doesn't go like below 0 because then you fall. Then gravity takes over.
I just use sticky
Well, you
notes
just-
on myself.
You just can't look down when you stop flapping.
That's so smooth. Oh yeah, it's like the what's it called? The Wile E. Coyote?
Wile E.
Like,
Coyote.
yeah,
Yeah.
the logic. There's actually a world that does that. Like somebody made a world where as you don't look down, you don't fall, but the moment you look down, you fall. And I was like thinking, it's actually that makes kind of cool like gameplay because it'd be cool VR game where you have to like follow cartoon physics to like solve puzzles. Anyway, next question. Ooh. Next question's from Ace on Twitch. What do you guys think about the new yearly badges Aegis made on the new devlog? And other questions, how come there was no 2017 badge until now? So they're like pretty cool. Like I do like the how it's kind of evolving the style of it. And for the 2000, oh my god, thank you this Foolish for the subscription.
Thank you. Oops. Thank you very much.
For 2017, is because there's like literally like 40 people for 2017, so it was just never like really worth the effort, and most of them are like, a bunch of them are like test accounts, and a lot of like, I think only like there's like a very few that actually play, so it was never really like worth like the too much effort, unfortunately. Andreas is asking, so Froox, data type question. Why are strings value components but objects in protoflags? Yes, that's a good question. Essentially, what like the data model and what protoflags considers as value and object types, those are kind of different concepts. So for data model purposes, what is considered a value is essentially atomic. Like it's considered like this is just a base chunk of data. That's like a data primitive, and that's sort of undivisible. It's just it's just a value that can be assigned to a field, and is always assigned as a whole. It's never kind of like, for example, if you have a list of things, it can like expand, it can have multiple values. You can change the individual values in the list. You can sort of mutate just parts of it. It's not atomic. But for values, they're just they're treated like like non-divisible atomic primitive unit. And data model doesn't really care how those values are allocated, so they can both be like value types, or it can be types allocated on the heap, like under the hood. For data model, it makes no difference because it doesn't really deal with things on that level. For protoflags, it's essentially like a VM for like like a scripting language, and the way it works with types, it actually has it has like its own kind of stack when executing the program, so it needs to care on how those types are allocated. So it needs to distinguish what actually is a value type and what is a heap type. And strings, because they're essentially values that can have varying length. They are always allocated on the heap in C#. Therefore, they have to be an object type because you cannot put them like on the stack because of the varying size. So it's pretty much like that. Like they like these is like a bit of like overloaded term, like where for protoflags it means like one thing, and in data model like it means like a different thing. Because like in data model, you don't really have like concept of like where things are allocated. If it's on the stack, if it's on the heap, like data model doesn't care. Whereas the protoflags does. And it's something we kind of like we don't want to like hide it for the most part, because like the node overloading system should take care of like deciding which type of the node to use, but it needs like a little bit additional UI to handle that. But yeah, it's pretty much that. Let's see. Check the Froox out there asking, can I have splitting pretty please? It's available for everyone. You can just go on the Reprerelease branch and then you can have splitting. You can help us test things.
Yeah, you can come on over and enjoy like the smoothness.
It's actually good to like PSA is like we're still doing the testing, so if you can jump on a Reprerelease, mind like read all the warnings and everything we have, because those are important. But if with those warnings you can you can help us test things that can help catch things and issues before this hits main, because for anything that's kind of skipped during testing, that doesn't get found during this pre-release testing, we'll have to fix things after it's live, and once it's live, you don't have the choice of going back, so you kind of have to wait for us to fix things. So usually it's better the more participation we get during the pre-release, the smoother things are once things get out. And if you if there are any giant blockers that are found out, we will delay the release. But if there are none found, then we will release it as soon as we can. Ace Twitch is asking, can we have Twitch commands at home again? And we could.
Need a bag of confetti to.
Does this work?
I guess.
I think it would qualify. There's a bonk command, right?
Yeah, there we go. Wait, does it do the beak? Oh, it does the beak.
Yeah.
Exclamation point flap.
There we go. Bonk Sire, hold on. So there's Bonk Sire, so there's been bonks. What else do we have? There's bird. We already bird, so I'll flap and cookie flapping. There we go. There we go. Twitch oh, oops, that was accidental bonk. Yeah, there we go. Twitch commands at home. Nicon is asking, will these beer powers be public assets? Probably not. J. Wyden4 is asking, what is the word? The word is contrafibulations.
It could also be potentially avian in nature.
Ace on Twitch is asking, why is the Twitch chat pro below you guys? We have one for for the question that's right over there, but whenever people subscribe, it sprays particles, but you can't see it, so as a workaround we just put one below. Actually, hold on, let me just put it there. I'm gonna put it, there we go. That way, so now you can't see it, but if it sprays particles, we get sprayed with particles on stream, so that's our workaround for, not being able to position where the confetti comes from. Oh, and Jack answered with the confetti. Thank you for the bits. Yeah, there we go, see? This is why. Thank you, Ice Glitch, for the subscription.
Genius.
For demonstration. Oh my god, check the Froox. Well, this is not even a question to us. Check the Froox asking Glitcher, as cat, how do you feel about Froox being a bird now? I feel like it feel. If you want a real interesting answer, ask him how he would feel if I was a wah. Next question is from Meta4744. For someone who is brand new to the game and wants to deep dive into it but finds learning curve too steep, what would you recommend? And it kind of depends a little bit what you're into in the game, but I would definitely advise, take things slow. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Our community is super helpful. We have the mentor group, so if you see people with the green light bulb icon, we can ask them for help with whatever you need. People are super wanting to help. So you don't have to be worried that bothering anyone. But generally takes things slow. There's a lot of stuff to discover in Resonite. Even people who've been on here for years and years, sometimes they'll still be discovering new things about this platform because there's just so much. So take it slow. Don't be afraid, to ask people. Check for some there's cool YouTube tutorials as well, if that's kind of what you prefer. But yes, and that's generally my advice.
Also, don't feel like you need to know everything, right?
Yes.
There are plenty of people that are, just socialize here. Just hang out with people and have fun. And even if you do want to know some things, trying to learn literally everything there is to know, you're probably going to overload yourself because, yeah, there is literally stuff that I've heard Froox been like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I like, there's literally parts of the code and functions that I wrote that I forgot about. I'm like, oh, I forgot I made that thing. so like, if I can't like remember everything that's in here, like I don't think anyone else can.
Yeah, and many people are good at like a specific group of subjects, but not necessarily incredible at others. There are plenty of people to, ask for help and get help from, and talk to for advice or assistance with doing whatever you are trying to achieve. So,
Yes. Whole like philosophy of Resonite is to allow people who have different skill sets, who have different interests, to sort of exist and complement each other. So we don't expect everyone to be like a super good programmer with protoflags. We don't expect everyone to be good at setting up avatars. That's why people who are good at those skills, they can be helping out people who, maybe are more like interested in socializing. And we actually get a good chunk of people on here who like, they don't really know how to use inspectors, they do know how to use, protoflags, but oftentimes they'll have like, their friends and other people help, set up stuff for them, which people who do like doing that kind of stuff, they're oftentimes like super happy to do. So the whole idea of the platform is, everybody can have like different approach, but like everybody in the community sort of complements each other and can help each other out. It's also like a cool group, like if you're like looking for setting up avatars, there've been people like setting up Resonite packages for a lot of a common basis, so that might also make things easier, getting into. So if you want your avatar in, it might be worth checking if there's a Resonite package for it, because that literally goes from like, you having to actually set up the avatar, which is quite a complicated, process, because you have to load the development tools, to just like, drag and drop, maybe assign a few textures, and you're pretty much done. Next question is from jwiden4. Jwiden is asking, a while ago I looked at some old devlogs of very early Froox engine. One thing I noticed is that you had to do everything physically before inspector, looking around for tools, manual scaling, that sort of thing, and later on with the build and windows. What do you think Resonite would look like if it kept more physical mechanical approach? And the thing, it would probably look, like that, like where you just do a lot of stuff like very physically. I like wanted to like push a lot of that because it feels like it's very natural for VR to interact with things physically, like you kind of move things and so on. The problem, like there are like two major problems with this though. One, it's new, so a lot of like people who are coming to the platform, like it just made this learning curve like extra steep for them. Because they had to like figure out whole new mechanisms to interact with things. So like doing things in the more traditional way, it makes it a bit friendlier. It's also, the other thing is like not everything kind of works like super well, because if you consider something like the inspector, you could sort of make it physical, but like ultimately like I don't think it's something that translates as well. Like not in a generic manner where you can like literally edit like every piece of it, because the physical tools, the way I think about them, they're always like, they're metaphors, for specific interactions. And with inspectors, there's just like so many different possibilities of what you can be doing that like, there's not going to be enough time to implement, the tools like metaphors for all of them. However, what I want us to do, like, is do both. So like you have like, that sort of more traditional approach, but there's also like more kind of physical ways of like doing things for the most common actions. And you can we can see that like in a lot of the tools. Like if you, for example, grab the if you grab something like the material tool, that's still like a very physical way of doing things, where you can literally like the material, it becomes like a thing, like a physical object you can grab. It's like a cartridge, you can put it in, and you can just apply it to anything. And that's sort of like, and what is it doing? It's not doing anything different that it couldn't do through the inspector. Like I could open, like, what I just did, I could just open this in the inspector, like the ground, I could find a reference to material component, assign it to the mesh renderer. But it's a little bit more like, involved, versus having this tool be sort of like a manual sort of metaphor for doing that, it simplifies the action because now you don't need to do it with the inspector, and it's much quicker to do too because it becomes visual. So the tools are fundamentally not doing anything that would be impossible to do with the inspector. They're just making the common interactions, easier and more intuitive. And I wouldn't want us to do like kind of more, where you have like this sort of baseline of the inspector being able to edit anything, and for a lot of the common interactions, there's like some kind of tool that simplifies it. For example, if say you wanted to set up like a joint component, it might be much easier with a tool where you just say, you mark, okay, this is the joint entrance, this is the one I want to like attach it to, and then you click a thing to specify the axis, and you can like literally just move it around, and there's like visualizations for it rather than like having to figure out the numbers and axes and the inspector fields. But doing those, it requires implementation time for each, versus the inspectors general that like just handles everything without having to do any specific work for each. Platypus is asking, how many VR headsets and bits of VR hardware have you accumulated over years? Do companies send you stuff to try? So I do have a bunch, but actually like about, what year is it? Like about 3 years ago now. I lost a lot of it, unfortunately. But yes, sometimes companies, they will send us stuff. Actually, can I talk about it one?
I think so. Yeah, if you're willing to.
Yeah, like I don't mind like talking about it. I recently got the Babel face tracker from the FG Hiatus. It's been like very kind to like send one. And I've been kind of like wanting to play with it, which is one of the reasons I kind of like, well, so when I'm done with the split tuning, I can actually do a lot of the other stuff. So sometimes companies, will send like cool hardware, and it will usually get it integrated. We also got like I got the gloves. I'm not using them right now, but I got the Diver X gloves from the Diver X team. So it's been kind of like fun to kind of mess with and play with. And I've like seen a bunch of people like in the community like running with them. And it's also kind of cool because like sometimes companies send us like stuff early, and like when we got the Diver X gloves, like we've tried them out, and we actually gave Diver X a lot of feedback based on the sort of like the early versions, and they fixed a lot of the stuff and made it like much more kind of reliable and much easier to use. So sometimes like you get like this two-way process where you can help like you can help like the company sort of like refine its hardware too, or it's like software for that hardware. So yeah, I got a bunch. Like I got some really old ones. Like I actually have the old like DK1. I have some of the like other like prototypes, some other headsets. I have to actually go through them because I don't remember what I accumulated. But yeah, it's got a few. Next question's from Ace on Twitch. Ace on Twitch is asking, Froox, do you ever plan on recreating your older projects in Resonite whenever you have the free time? For example, Sightline, Overlight, etc. I saw some old videos on your YouTube channel and made me curious. So, some of them, yes. Actually, like the big long-term goal is to build versions of those like on here and sort of like made them part like of the sort of like lore of the platform. I kind of like miss doing those kinds of projects because like I really like doing like storytelling, game design, and making cool games, and I haven't been able to do that for like years. And my hope is like at some point like we'll essentially be able to do these kinds of projects and use them sort of to drive some features, because I really like what the Blender Foundation did like a while back, where they actually started like producing actual kind of like short movies and films with Blender, and through that process they actually improved the tooling a lot, because they started putting it through a real world like use cases, and the artists they were like, we need this functionality, and that helped improve Blender a lot as a tool, just by using it as a real world tool rather than sort of like developing it a little bit more in a vacuum.
Dog fooding.
Yeah, dog fooding. I mean, we already kind of do dog fooding a little bit, but not like, quite in depth on that level where we actually building, really like some kind of project. So at some point I would really want to start doing that and just be like, okay, this game needs this kind of functionality. Like I have a game that I was working on that I think a lot of people don't know about. It was called originally it was called Gaps Between Art, and then I kind of was continuing to develop it under the name Paintline. And essentially what it was, what it was is it was like a puzzle game where you solve puzzles. It was kind of Portal-esque, and you solve puzzles by painting the environment and working with paint and working with color. And I want to still build that because I designed I did it for a game jam. And there's a bunch of puzzles with it, and I was really happy with the concept, and I had lots of ideas what kind of puzzles you could do with that. And also it kind of fit into the storyline because it technically would be prequel for Sightline. And in order to build it here, we would need functionality like being able to programmatically write into textures, so you can paint on stuff. And the Zeno functionality is going to be useful for so much different stuff because you could use it to build tools to customize avatars. You could just draw on them. But this would be really good kind of impulse to be okay, we're building this game, we need this functionality, we need this functionality, so we add generic functionality to the engine in order to be able to build this project. But it's also useful for tons of other stuff. So, yes, I would definitely want to do that at some point. Plus, do sort of more, I don't know what the term for it is. Sort of storytelling that's mixed with this, where you can be just on social platform, but also there might be some ways to find some mysteries and find some content that's not super obvious, but you can we could tell tell a story through little pieces and nuggets that will just slowly appear over time, and you'll have to piece it together. So yeah, I would want to do that, but still right now it's not the right time for it just yet. I do wonder though, one thing I've been kind of thinking is doing sometimes videos on the old projects I did. I don't know if that's something people would be interested in watching, but if you're interested in it, I could do a stream and just go over those and showcase some of my old work.
That'd be quite the trip down memory lane, I imagine.
Yeah, I got lots of old projects, but yes, definitely love to do them. But we'll see when the time is right. Next question's from Angel Boy VR. If no one asked before, what's the world name you guys are in? So this world is Tarzan Treehouse by Gearbell. I kind of picked it because bird. I was spent some time setting up the bird, and I was oh wait, I need a world. I just need something natural jungle with trees. So I just searched tree or something and found this. So here we are. Oh, and we need to flap so we don't fall down.
Bird. Angel Boy VR is asking, what exact bird species are you guys representing? I'm some sort of sci-fi space fox bird, wolf bird sort of bird thing.
I'm sure the Chipori is inspired by some species of bird. I don't know what it is though.
Oh, it's just a Chipori.
Yeah, it's a Chipori.
Species.
I'm a Psy Raven.
Psy Raven. I thought you were gonna say bird Martin.
Bird Martin. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a bit of an oxymoron or something, whatever that word means. Because, I eat birds, because I think martins eat eggs.
Yeah, but you see, you are what you eat, therefore you are a bird.
Therefore I'm eggs.
So is there, did you two come from some kind of shared ancestry to explain the beaks, or Is that just coincidence?
We actually use the cloning technology. It's called the duplicate button in the inspector.
Yeah.
You can clone body parts in Resonite.
Effortlessly.
Yeah.
Bonus limbs.
So easy.
No moral implications at all.
Nope.
Nope.
What are those?
Next question's from Jeviden. What is the release, I don't mean default branch channel used for? How often is it updated? So the release channel, that's the actual, it's pretty much the same as the main release. The main reason is it was made is because it used to be possible to push to the main branch on Steam from a script, and then Valve changed it so it's no longer possible. So normally, when I was releasing a new build, I would just be like, okay, I run the script publishes, the build, and it says this as the main branch, and I'm done. Oh my god, thank you, Jake Foxer.
Whoa!
Yay. Oh my god, these are so smooth.
That's a bunch.
These are so
Yeah.
smooth. Thank you. Oh my god. But yes, it was possible to, just run with a script, so we just run a script and I'm done. And everybody gets, the new build. But then Valve, changed it. They changed, how the publishing happens. So you actually need to go into the portal. So what I had to do is I had to make a branch, and I just called it release. So I run a script, it pushes it to the release branch, and then I need to go and say, this release branch also publish this to the main branch, and I need to do it manually through the interface. So it's pretty much just kind of helper for whenever I'm looking for which branch I need to, or which depot I need to set as the main one. I can see, okay, this is the latest release one, so I'm just gonna set this one and set this to the default branch as well. You can technically use it, you might get you might get new updates a minute early if you use it, but it's mostly just a helper for the publishing process. It should almost always be the same as the main branch. So BD underscores asking, does the Eldritch texture hunger more when a calling system is preventing you from being seen? Aha, so calling system might be preventing from being seen, but you have to think, if you are prevented from being seen, where are you? What actually happens is you are in the Eldritch realm, so the calling system actually helps the Eldritch texture to see you, because you go into its realm. Because if normal people can see you, but you still exist, you don't cease to exist. You have to be somewhere. You are in the Eldritch realm. That's where you go. In fact, the eyes that the Eldritch texture develops, they actually come from that realm. So those eyes that are in the Eldritch texture, they very well may be your own eyes that are cold, that have seeped through the Eldritch texture to see others.
I have no further questions.
Perfect.
I think you are crystal clear.
Nicon is asking, I don't think anyone has asked this yet. What? That's a good question. Next question's from Lola Robot. Who makes the best pancakes in Resonite? I've been longing for some virtual pancakes. I don't know about virtual ones, but Glavin makes good pancakes.
Glavin does make very good pancakes. I'm usually a waffle guy, but Glavin makes excellent pancakes.
He made the first pancakes where I was I didn't feel like I'm gonna go into sugar coma. They were actually kind of soft and fluffy and not too overwhelming. I remember the first time I went to BLFC, we went to one of the in GSR, we went to what's it called? There was I forget the name of the place.
The Grand Cafe?
Yeah, I think it was that one. And we got pancakes, and I ate both of them, and I was just sitting there, and my vision started going black, and I'm like, this is way too much sugar. I'm too European for this much.
Can't handle the American ways.
Nope. And then, like, I was a little bit, like, apprehensive, like, when Glevin's gonna make pancakes, but he was like, you know, he said, like, he has a special mix that's really good for pancakes, and that was very good.
Yeah, it's baller.
Modern Balloon is asking, what do you think of GitHub issue? Oh my god. Thank you for the cheer, Noble Rain. Modern Balloon is asking, what do you think of GitHub issue number 4680? I don't know what that one is. Oh my god, thank
There's so much
You're
confetti.
here. Why?
It's a hype train. I can't just let
It's a
that
hype
fly
train.
by.
But you're in the stream.
What the heck?
See what you did. See what you did. Oh my god, thank you, Billy
Look how
underscore.
smooth the confetti is.
It's so smooth, oh my god.
Angel Boy says, Froox and Cyro Durg avatar.
There we go, Avatar.
Oh. Oh.
I'll be down.
We need more subs.
We need more subs for that, yes.
My god.
I'm not biased at all, but this is a great idea.
I mean, you'd have to not specify which kind of dark.
Bruh. Who is that?
How was that? Oh my god, thank you
Thanks,
very
Troy.
much for the subscription. This is
That's a
this
few.
is good marketing.
One of the people that received a subscription is in my house right now.
Oh my god. A Canadian gets too.
Yeah, look at that.
Gets
nice.
here.
Gets here. Oh yeah, he was mentioning because he wanted to watch the bird. Like, you know, he was intrigued. So, Ged, what do you actually have a question to you? What do you think of the bird?
Yeah, I know that you have an avian form yourself. How do we?
Yeah, he
how
showed
do
it
we
on the
measure
stream. That was the Reprerelease. The skeleton came first, and then came the flesh,
the burdening?
the burdening. Anyway, to the actual question, oh my god, thank you, Sharon, seven sort of subscription.
Thank you.
This is good marketing. We should do this more often. Yeah, we could. Well, we have to figure out like a goal for Dirk. What's the price for Dirk?
2.
Just two
What?
subscriptions.
Yeah, I think this is a
No.
great idea.
That's not enough.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you think is enough then?
I don't know, 150 again.
150.
How much was the bird?
150.
150. Let's go 200.
200 for the Dirk.
Whoa, dragon's more
200.
expensive than bird? I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Listen, pal. They tend to be a lot bigger.
But Dirk. And actually it makes sense because, like, you know, the Dirks have to hoard. They have to hoard.
Yeah, we need treasure.
They need treasure and bits. Oh my god. Getting to the actual question. Actually, are you able to pull out which
Yeah.
issue this is? I don't know which one this
4608.
is.
For
I'm curious
context,
what.
please explain
Oh
what
my
your
god.
question is next time. Pretty
Thank you,
please.
Gister Blades.
4608.
4608.
608.
Oh my god,
Full
thank you.
Built-in collider-based avatar interaction systems. Okay, this is a
Oh.
bit of a bigger one. I don't know if we can. I don't think I can understand this in a timely manner.
Yeah, I've heard about that one, but like I kind of need to more dig into it first before kind of like figuring out what would be kind of a good approach for it.
Yeah.
And the only thing like I can say is like, you know, like if you feel like there's something like this is like important, give it upvotes because that like helps like, you know, deciding like what to prioritize. But right now, like, unfortunately I don't have like too much specific. Just not really like stuff like I would like to expand upon, like, you know, with the spatial variables and add kind of more mechanisms for it. So maybe some of it will cover some of this, but also like I haven't dug into the issue in depth, so I can't say yet. clarify. Definitely, if there's ways to like make like interactions easier, like we like building those kinds of systems. Oh my god, thank you,
Oh,
Angel Boy.
jeez.
Oh boy.
The dragon really wants the dragon stream.
They want the dragon.
I mean, I get it.
Jeepers. But yeah, please also include an explanation with your question, because we're not gonna hunt down GitHub issue numbers all day, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's better to kind of be like, I mean, you can like mention the GitHub issue, but like include like which one it is. Ace on Twitch. Sarah, how do you feel you can speak and listen to other people in the Linux pre-release?
It feels good because for like a whole month I wasn't able to, so I no longer have insane FOMO, so that's good.
Yay.
Definitely a bit of a motivator to try and get that working as fast as possible.
On the downside, you have to deal with our shenanigans again.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
In the pre-release.
What? I don't get
Your
it.
auditory senses are able to be assaulted once more.
Yeah.
Oh, I can just turn them off.
Audio on Linux cancelled.
I can blink my ears.
You can. This is the funny thing. Is like we can close our eyes, but we can't close our ears.
You sure
look-
can't.
You can blink your ears, pal, but you can't.
It's actually a funny thing because like one of the differences like when working on visuals versus audio is like if I mess up like something like even visuals and like say meshes start exploding and flashing, like I'm not photosensitive. Like it's different for photosensitive people, but it's just like, oh yeah, it's flashing, it's kind of whatever. Like I can literally like be staring into like a flashing thing and it's just gonna be, maybe it's a little like uncomfortable, but like generally I'm fine with it myself. But if I mess up audio, it makes a horrible screech. And when I was originally implementing audio with the video players, there's a few times where I blown in my ears, where I just got like a random noise in the memory as audio data, and it's awful. It hurts, and it's like so interesting to me, that like audio, which is technically kind of simpler than visuals in some ways because it's kind of less data, the mistakes tend to hurt a lot more than visuals, at least, unless you're photosensitive, because if you're photosensitive and like you get flashing visuals, then that might give you a seizure or what's it called, migraine and other like negative effects, and then then it's a different story. But with ears, like it feels like you can't like you can't close them. Like I literally had to like just throw my headset off because like it started screeching.
I was gonna ask if there were any instances where you just like rip your headphones off of your head.
That happened a few times.
That actually happened to me with the STL audio system because I used the wrong Andy in this for the sample.
Oh no!
And so it was just the loudest digital like copper on the tongue inducing, like taste inducing noise I've ever heard.
I've had it like happen also like randomly, like before, like where the headphones just went full screech like that at full volume out of the blue, and like for a second like it feels like you just died instantly and like entered some kind of like noise like demon realm or something.
It makes my tongue taste like burnt copper metal crap whenever that happens. Like it gives me actual like.
Oh my god, thank you, Techno.
Thank you, Techno.
Thanks, Techno.
Thank you.
But like it's so bad that it makes me. Jesus.
How long is that list?
Oh my god.
I think Techno just gave up all the subs they needed.
What? Oh my god, Techno, you're crazy.
Literally
50?
maxed out the chat history.
Oh my god, it's so many.
Shit.
Thank you so
Jeez.
much.
Techno really wants Dragon Stream
Yes,
too.
Dragon. Yeah, I feel Dragon's happening at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
This is viable market. This is viable business strategy. We just become bird and become dragon and other things for everyone's amusement while answering technical questions.
Yeah, we explain Resonite, and in return for listening to our explanations, they get to make us look silly.
Yes, I'm fine with this.
But yeah, no, the audio stuff, like, I have had it actually make me taste like burnt metal copper. It's weird synesthesia that sound gives for me.
Yeah. Like random garbage out like memory data. Somebody actually asked like if I'm gonna add like if audio like Eldritch audio is gonna manifest. I'm like, you don't want that. Surely don't want that.
You don't want to listen to your shared memory maps. Trust me, it's not good.
It's not good. Like
Just convert the Eldritch texture into audio data. I'm sure it'll be fine.
No, you don't want that. I've had to listen to that, and you don't want that. It's actually funny because like I had it happen. Like when I was testing, it happened for the first time. It freaked me out. And I was like, okay, this time I'm doing another test. I'm gonna be careful. I spawned a video player. I went super far away from it. It's gonna be fine. It's low volume. I'm far away from it. It was not fine. It was awful. It was still a horrible screech that was like way too loud than like it had any right to be.
Now have 32-bit audio and have it like exceed the max volume limit on the freaking game because it's 32-bit audio.
This was 32-bit. Random memory data, so it was like it was like out of bounds values, it was infinities, it was nans, it was like everything. It was just garbage memory data. It's awful.
Yikes.
Yeah, we sometimes blow our ears, so you don't have to.
Yeah, we need to like come on stream with like bandages around our ears like sometime.
It is one of the reasons like when we were doing the audio testing, like I knew like stuff like that could happen. I tried like pretty much eliminate all of it, but I was like I know stuff like that can happen with audio engines, so like I put a warning there. I'll be like lower volume, like set it really really low. Be super careful like with this because I didn't want that to happen to people. Unfortunately, like we had no cases of that because I fixed all of them. But it is.
So
it is
you were the victim before they were.
Yep. It is like it is extremely unpleasant for audio like that.
The flashbacks to Zeta Reverb.
Yeah, the one that I remember the devlog.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring it in?
Yeah, I can go get it. Let me go get it.
Do you have it?
I can grab it. It'll take me
I might
just a
have it.
sec.
Oh my god, the inventory is so smooth. Actually, wait, I have it.
Oh, you have it? Okay. Yeah,
I already have it.
All right.
Okay, you ready for this one? Oh, crap.
This is like not even a bad one, but this is a taste of how loud shit can get.
You'll be able to see how loud this like got. Let's actually, I should probably lower it on the stream like this. You think this is good?
Yep.
It's not very audible.
Oh, it will be.
You can see. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Hold on. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I'm gonna make it a bit louder.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You can see. You can see how loud it was.
It goes off of like 10 times the amount of the freaking waveform area.
It literally went off the chart. See, Cyro has blown his ears out, so you don't have to. Appreciate our sacrifice.
Count yourselves lucky that you still have all of the freaking. Count yourselves lucky you still have your freaking like ear hairs intact.
Your eardrums have not been ruptured repeatedly.
Yeah.
But yes,
Someone asked if that's why you have holes in your ears.
no, that's for better Wi-Fi reception.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They also whistle when I run, apparently.
That tickles me.
Okay, I think we can consider this question answered.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god. Orion is asking, go to stream when? When feature parity?
Yeah, feature parity. If they get feature parity, they will have my hat.
Yes.
Hats off to them.
Next question's from Moonbase. How much do I need to donate to get Soundbite Froox stream? What is Soundbite?
I don't know what soundbite is.
I don't know what Soundbite is.
Like just having a soundboard of clips of common sayings that Froox says.
Oh.
That's my interpretation. Oh, that's like a an avatar.
Huh? Can you bring it, Ben?
I think I might know what they mean. Is it that avatar that's like got the really sharp teeth and has speakers all over it?
Oh, that one. Okay. I mean,
think
we're already
that's what
doing
it's talking
Dirk.
about.
I feel we need to do Dirk first. That avatar is pretty cool, though. Like,
Yeah. At least I think that's what it is. I can't remember.
maybe.
Yeah, yeah. The ears are like they've got like what looks like a sound like speaker
Speakers
texture.
and the tail's like audio jack.
Oh, they're saying the one that Dino scene uses the pool toy
Oh,
one.
okay.
I don't know if I. I
Oh,
don't
that
know
was a
if
different one then.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that one. Sorry.
We might do it more generic so we have more wiggle room.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Thank you, Kissel Blades.
Thank you.
How many subs to do a hot tub stream? Well, it depends
Hot
if you
tub
mean
stream?
VR hot tub or real world hot tub.
Man, that's gonna be an expensive one if it's a real world hot tub stream.
Yeah, unless we time it right with like, you know, something like
Ooh,
BLFC.
yeah, yeah.
Listen, if you wanna fund an actual like real life hot tub stream, we're not gonna stop yet. Like we will if you did that, we would put it towards that. We would do it. Smile.
That'd be good. I mean, there's gotta be few opportunities, so maybe.
That could actually be a reality. Actually,
So, Angel Boy VR, isn't it called gaining altitude, Froox, in context of charging by flapping? No, see, like, we actually remain, so, like, the way birds work is, like, you flap around, and the feathers, they are moving through the gravity field, and they actually charge up, like, you know, like, they are up against, you know, the way, like, you get, like, you know, static electricity when you're up against something. They actually charge me up with anti-gravity particles, and those anti-gravity particles cancel out the gravity particles, so I don't fall down. And I just have to make sure to top it up, you know, so it keeps canceling each other and they remain, like, you know, stationary in the middle of the air. That's how birds work, which, you know, we know how birds work because we are definitely birds.
yes. And we have always been birds.
Oh, we haven't always been birds, but, like, at least we haven't. We're relatively new to birds, but as newly found birds, like, you know, this is how birds work.
Absolutely.
We gained the innate knowledge of birdhood.
Yes. Bark. I mean
Chirp. Chirp. Nicon is asking, so any info on Bepu Physics 2 sounds like it'll be brought in soon after splitting. We're already using Bepu Physics 2. It probably mean, like, you know, updating it to the latest commit, like to the latest, you know, like release, which, yes, will happen sometime after splitting, which is kind of exciting because, like, on pre-release, like right now, like it already runs crazy good. Like like Bepu is one of the things that benefits the most. Like, especially with particles, you know, with particle collisions, like it just chews through it. And as without, like, you know, having the version that's optimized for it, like, do we want to do a showcase?
You know, me, I have my, like, souped up, like, sticky note gun.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the sticky note gun shoots 6,000 sticky notes per second. And, yeah, I think the performance speaks for itself. That's
I
quite
feel
a
that's
lot
probably hurting more. That's hurting more on the GPU rendering than. That is nuts. That looks so smooth on that.
Like, there is...
Hold on. Let me do a side shot. That is insane.
it's still running at like full frame rate for me. That's crazy.
Second.
Yeah, barely dropping any.
Wow. And I think we also have
Wait, let me do the ray tracer one. I have one that's just casually doing ray tracing with particles. It's this thing. I actually haven't seen it in VR. Oh, there we
oh
go.
my god.
So, oh no, there's something. Oh no. Well, this doesn't work well. What is happening? Actually, I'm gonna get rid of it because it's not interacting well with something. So normally that one runs way better, but there might be something in here.
I have a more narrow gun version of it here. Is
Okay, let's try that one.
so this one is like just is that
There we go.
okay for you?
Yeah, that's decent. I wonder why is that one, because we tried like in different worlds and it ran pretty well.
Yeah, we can just do just like casual, you know, we're just ray tracing with the particle system. You can even see like it casts shadows if you look at it from a side profile. I don't know if that's working. Is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do ray tracing and Resonite with the particle system.
Yeah.
Who
Like
needs
Beppel's just like insanely benefiting, and that's, you know, that's without like the .NET like specific optimizations, because we're using an old fork before they switched to that. Next question is from Falared. Do you plan for the functions? At least for functions you forget to write and stop or draft on the wiki in public notes for people to check it out and help grow articles?
I
don't know if I understand what you're asking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that doesn't parse.
I'm sorry, like you might need to rephrase that.
Maybe they're referring to protoflux nodes? I'm not sure.
I mean, that's kind of what I thought initially when I started reading it, but then it was like, you know, talking about wiki and other stuff, so I'm not quite certain. You might need to rephrase that, please. Next question is from Ace on Twitch. Are you able to see light at the end of split ending tunnel? Yes, I finally actually can, because like, you know, now it's running, like we're doing stream on it, there being like events running on it. It's getting pretty stable, so it's now like mostly just kind of cleaning up the smaller issues, and like it's getting there. Like
Yeah,
I can feel it getting close to release now, which is really nice.
A couple of my friends even used it in VR on Linux and it works just fine.
Yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be a hard one. How much time? We have 30 minutes left. Nukikon's asking, favorite Sonic the Hedgehog level? That is a hard one. I have like a bunch. Like, I mean, it depends like which game you ask too. Jeez, which one would I even pick? Because there's like a lot of like really good ones. It depends, you know, what we're crossing, like talking like, you know, old games. I'm gonna say Press Garden Act 2 in Sonic Mania. That one's like beautiful, the music's like beautiful, and just love like the visuals of it. But also like I love like a lot of them. Like there's like, you know, even if we go like, you know, with that one, and or even like Sonic 3 is like, say, Flying Battery Zone. That was like a lot of fun. There's like, you know, modern Sonic games. Like in the Sonic Shadow Generations was like a lot of like really good ones, and the Space Arc, like that's like I really enjoyed that one, for example, because like that's the first like you get, and like then it starts. I don't want to spoil too much, but like you get like, you know, into like the level kind of transforming, and like it gets really cool and mind blowing. Jeez, I would say narrow down to a specific Sonic game, and because this is hard.
The last Sonic game I played was I don't. Does you tell me if it qualifies? Shadow the Hedgehog on PlayStation 2.
It qualifies.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite level on that one?
Oh boy, I don't remember enough to say, but
Just
it was right up my
Sevastopolis.
alley. So
But yeah, like you might need to narrow it down to a very specific Sonic game because like I'm just having trouble because like now I'm like thinking of which Sonic games I want to like pick ones from. Like earlier, like say Rufus like in Sonic Generations 2, that's like another excellent one. Like there's too much like it's too much like thinking of like which Sonic games because like each one's kind of plays like very different. Yamdev Tool favorite Sonic Hedgehog character for me it's Tails.
I'm gonna be the edgelord and say Shadow.
It's okay, he's been outaged with Infinite.
Yeah, I like Tails as well.
Yeah.
Tails is pretty dope.
Nikon's asking, do you have a favorite furry character and on franchise? Which is what is furry franchise? I mean, there's like a bunch of webcomics I read, but there's actually like one webcomic I really like that I've been like reading is called I Think I Like You. It's
I'm not familiar
pretty
with it.
sweet. It's very good. I recommend it. It has like really good art too. It's sort of
What
like
genre does it live in?
it's kind of like slice of life, but it does like the whole like there's like supernatural elements to it as well, sort of. It's
You
like
have piqued my interest.
it's very gay, very gay. Any other thoughts on this one?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
there
don't
you
have
go.
a ton of input unless you count Zootopia, Lamau.
Zootopia is good too. No, that's, I think that's a good answer.
Or like Bad Guys. Bad Guys was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I need to watch that one. I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, the second one just is coming out or just came out? I don't know, something. So
There's a
yeah,
second
you do
one.
need to. Yes,
I haven't
there's
even
a
seen the
second
first one. Oh my god, I need to catch up. But yeah, like
know.
I'm gonna recommend I Think I Like You.
I was gonna say like it's not furry. Well, no, that's just kind of like a movie. Never mind.
I mean, if it's fur.
No, it's not furry.
Oh, okay.
I have definitely also
No,
seen a good chunk of Beastars.
Oh, Beastar's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Also, in case I'm gonna give them a shot. I'm sorry, covered. I don't know where to place this.
It's okay.
The reader is good. Okay, we're good to move next one.
Yeah.
Yami DevTool is asking, do you guys have others where people can physical fan mail or snacks to? I mean, technically you could send it to like, the company address, but they would have to like forward it to us. Also, it's kind of a little bit difficult because, like we're all kind of scattered around the world, so it kind of depends who do you want to send stuff to, because like if you send it to the company address, then you're kind of sending it to me. There's a, like if... I haven't really thought about it much. It's actually funny because for the whole existence of company, we haven't gotten like we got no mail like on the company because like nowadays all the legal stuff it's just done through like it's digital. So
Thank goodness.
yep.
I mean, if it's like a, I don't know, like for the maybe it could be like a per like team member thing. Like if they happen to have a
Yeah.
PO box or something, like they could list it.
I've had like some people tell me like that I should set up a PO box, but I was like never given it much thought. I mean, it is a little bit difficult because we don't have a single location, so like you
Yeah.
kind of have to like be like I want to send to this specific person.
And if you send one to someone, you have to send one to every. No, I'm just kidding.
To send everyone, we have to mail all around the world. Check the Fox Otter. Are there any
Are there any other examples or features you'd like to implement to allow specific game mechanics? I mean, there's like a bunch. So one of the big ones is going to be, literally just adding rigid body physics, because the rigid body physics enables so many games. Like, literally just like, there's so many games like where like 90% of the game is just physics, and 10% is like, some glue code to like make things like apply forces to them or to like, trigger specific things. So I think that's a big one.
I would say some stuff to make portals easier to do, but honestly, like with what I've seen Red Dragon
hard.
doing, it's with the existing toolset is already like really, really close.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stuff is also very complex.
The portal stuff, like it doesn't, at least so far, like I found like it doesn't generalize super well, unfortunately. Like it's really hard to like make it work with absolutely like everything.
Yeah, you need to handle, like, clipping the model and making it appear like it's seamless to the portal, and you gotta handle shading differences, you gotta solve physics constraints between the portals, and it's just like, oh boy.
And then think about lights, particles, you might have like various like rendering systems. So you have a laser, does the laser supposed to pass through? The laser's not gonna know there's a portal, so like the laser system has to be aware that it has to go through a portal. Or maybe you have to make it in a way that like it is not aware of that, but it's somehow transparent for that system, which it gets complicated fast.
Yeah, the knowledge of a portal system needs to be like in everything for the portals to work good.
Next question is from Foolish Now Mew. Part of the community is working on good render. My question is if the render is able to reach feature parity with what FA Froox engine uses from Unity. Is there possibility taking on Godot render as the official render? It kind of depends on a few factors, because feature parity is like one thing. However, for our render, like what we want to actually go to, it's not about just feature parity, but it's also like for future features, and that's something we kind of need to consider. Because we do have certain plans, for features we want to offer, for certain like ways we want to approach things in the future. So feature parity, like while that's going to be very impressive, like reaching that, and that's definitely going to help a lot with the consideration, it's not the only thing. And when we look at the render, like part of the considerations are future features that don't exist just yet, but essentially seeing how easy are to implement, how easy are to maintain, and so on. One of those being for example doing custom shaders and questioning how can we build a shader system for that, how can we make it dynamic, but it's also like extensible, and is it like can it be done in a way where we can maintain long-term compatibility with stuff. The other part is the stability of the engine, like how much work is like how can we trust it's gonna be an active project for a long time, which for Godot I feel like that's actually probably one of the best, because there's a lot of like work going into it and a lot of support. So I think that one like has very high points in that field, but there's still like a number of other considerations that we still also have to like put together. We need to like write together like what do we actually need for the future for it, and then evaluate it based on that. So there's one thing I do want to like caution about is like that it's super cool. People in the community are like working on like getting stuff to work, but even like if it reaches full feature parity, that might not be enough for what we need, and there might be certain things that like might still make it a blocker. So if you're working on a custom render, like it is cool, like we're cool, like with you doing that kind of work, but we don't want it to have like an expectation that like will necessarily go with like what you made. It might help with the work, but also it might not. And so I don't want like essentially anybody like putting a lot of work into something, thinking we're gonna switch to it like automatically once it reaches feature parity, because there might be additional considerations. However, sometime post-splittering, I would like to kind of get that stuff together, figure out like what our requirements for the render are, so we actually sort of explicitly define it, and And then like, we can kind of like have the community effort like be more organized, but that has to happen sometime post splitting, because right now there's not enough bandwidth for it. Angel Boy VR is asking, pancakes with honey, Nutella, marmalade on it. Which one do you guys like more? Nutella's really good. I really like Nutella ones. Honey is
Yeah,
also
like
good, but
Nutella.
it tends to be very...
All of those sound pretty good. Honey, you would have to use very sparingly on pancakes,
Yeah.
I would think. Whoa!
Oh my god, thank you. No,
Thank
it was
you,
Noble
Noble.
Rain.
If I had to choose just one of those things, it would probably be Nutella.
Yeah. Marmalade is good too. Like, it depends a little bit like which type it is, but like, I love marmalade. Like, could be like blueberry marmalade. Or is that a jam?
I think marmalade's like citrusy usually, right?
Oh, okay. I mean, that's good too. All of those sound good. Ace Twitch is asking, does Froox have 3D scan of Glevin's pancakes? I actually might. I don't have it at hand though. I'd have to like, check. That's good now. We might need to start speeding through questions because we got 15 minutes left. Griffin Phyllis, there's something I've been thinking about since server stuff's been mentioned. If amount of new users post-splitting is rather large, do you think the servers are capable of handling the new numbers okay? Yeah, like the servers like generally relatively efficient. Also, like the worst case, we can ramp them up. We can kind of scale them up. But we've had like like a wave of users before, and like it's been able to handle it like pretty well. So I'm not too worried. If it's suddenly say like 10,000 users or 20,000 users or something like that, that might be a bit problematic. We might need to kind of scale it up a bit more and maybe do some like modifications. But they've also been able to kind of handle a good chunk. So we'll see. It depends like how rapid like the growth is. Triple Helix is saying, what are ethics of using Fur Essence as power source for my hyperdrive? All extraction is voluntary, of course. I'm concerned.
You have to take that up with your local
Local free
lawmakers.
authority, yeah.
We're not in the business of considering moral implications right now.
Next question's from Angel Boy. Ooh, oh my god. Oh my god. I don't even know who that is. Anonymous
Well,
gifter.
Oh my god, how many?
What is that? There's so many.
Literally like blocked out 100.
That's 100. That's 100.
Holy shit.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
we're becoming we're Dirks.
Holy
Oh my god.
crap.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
we
I think it
have
was-
definitely exceeded the 200 requirement at this point, I'm pretty sure.
I think we just found a new business model.
Alright, let's keep doing...
I mean, this is
Make-
basically how streamers work, you know? You let the
Yep.
community exploit you for fun.
Alright, let's... Dragon, yeah.
Yep. Dragon is happening.
Alright, you win,
Dragon's
guys.
happening. Oh my god, thank you so much, whoever that was.
That was... oh my god. Oh my god! An anonymous gifter. Okay, where were we?
I don't even know where we are now.
Right here, I think.
Oh my god.
Well,
We're dragons.
yeah.
Yeah,
you get your
yeah.
dragon
I don't think
now.
there's any avoiding that.
We're dragons. We'll have to figure
But-
something out.
I'm also entirely okay with this.
Yeah. I'm kinda okay with it too. I mean, the Birking's working out pretty well.
Yeah. Alright, how...
We should speed up the questions because there's not much time left. Wait, where were we?
we were
Which
right
questions?
where
How
you were.
many? Okay. Yeah.
We're
Right.
just right there.
How many subs does Froox want for their avatars? Also answer questions with their species, just any. We scales accept any. That many. Yes.
Well,
It's done. It's
It's
happening.
done. It's done. Next question's from Lola Robot. Are necklaces for same reason animations use them to make animating easier, or are they for pure visual effects? What?
I don't know. I doesn't
sorry.
parse, unfortunately. Sorry.
It doesn't parse either. I'm sorry. We have to rephrase that if there's time. Good cheers. Ice Clish is asking, Froox, what do you think is the best way to learn Flux? Just start doing it. Like, start like messing around, pick a very simple project, like, say for example, just driving position or color of something and start messing around with it. And, grow from there. Like, once you kind of get your foot in the door, I feel it kind of makes it easier to, like, learn more things. Take stuff that other people make, apart. You can also visit, like, some of the mentor classes, or even ask mentors, like, people will love to show you. I think there's some tutorials as well. We actually have, because we have Rustybot on the team now, but he's also been making Protoflux tutorials on his YouTube channel, so give those a watch. There's just a number of resources, but usually, as with anything, any kind of skill, best thing is, just start doing it. Like, start, messing around with it. Like, you're gonna probably, when you start, you're gonna be banging your head a bit, but it is a natural part, or, of any learning process. It's, same thing, like, if you're learning how to draw, like, the first 1,000 drawings you're gonna make, you are not gonna be that good, but they progressively get better and better, and that's, that's how you learn. Actually, the game director from, Doom, Hugh Martin, he mentioned on one of his streams, is, he's like, for, their concept artists, he's always, saying, you're 1,000 copy drawings, from being a good concept artist, so get started on making those thousands of drawings. And I feel like this just kind of applies to a lot of other skills. It's same with Protoflux. You're gonna be banging your head. Stuff is gonna be difficult, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And just understand, the head banging. That's natural part of the process. It doesn't mean, that you're not good at it. It just means you're learning and you're, absorbing information. Oh my god! Thank you. Thank you for the cheers.
Bits.
Yeah, the dragon is happening. Oh boy, when's the speed up? Terrasploit, quick question. The game is called Resonite, but I don't know what frequency it is. Is it 60 Hz? What about people on 3-phase? Is it localized? It's any frequency. All frequencies are canon.
Yes. Jesus
oh my
Christ.
god, there's...
Yeah.
It's just hold on, let me just show this. Yeah, so we're trying hot upstream, we already did this one, we're spawning out this stuff. Remember Reverb had no proper clamp, and we could stack them, yeah, I remember that too. How many subs were hooked up? We can add that one. This might be a real question, so feel free to skip it if you're not comfortable answering, but I've been curious, each resonance, are you and Sire dating? No,
What?
we're not dating. What?
No, we're not. We're not.
We're not dating.
I'm not dating my boss. I'm sorry.
That's weird. No, I'm dating Glitch. Who's in the chat sometimes.
Froox is very much already taken by a lovely gray and orange cat.
Can we get a Mao in the chat?
Mile.
Yeah, speak up.
Excuse me.
There he is.
Cute luck. Next question's from Ace on Twitch. If we don't reach enough the stream, does it... Oh, we already reached enough. Angel Boy, Froox, are we going to add that bug that you just had with particle system where lagging out, so the get up issue of course to do? I don't know if that's a bug, it just might be, that the colliders are too heavy for this particle case, so...
Yeah, this
I don't think that necessarily counts one.
Collider, pretty much.
Noble Rain is asking, what is your favorite part of being a bird? I can technically see inside of my beak.
I can store PNGs.
Yeah, we can store PNGs.
Oh man, you're right. I thought you were gonna say defying gravity, but those are both solid reasons.
Yeah, I'm defying gravity is good, but I can also, just to go to fly mode to do that when I'm not bird.
Which is not what we're doing right now.
Yes. Yeah, we're actually defying the gravity. Yeah, my Dev2 favorite background music straight from Sonic Garage. I haven't played Sonic Garage enough. Terrasploit, favorite Cyberpunk 27 playstyle. I kinda cheesed it, like I got one of the like tech sniper rifles and I would just ping everyone, I would just headshot everyone through walls and then that's kinda how I dealt with most encounters, but it felt cheap and I kinda wanna replay it.
Yeah.
Oh
my god, dude.
there's so many!
So many gifts.
There's so many! Oh my god.
$600.
That is insane!
That's $600.
How many subs to be an anime girl?
That
would be
500,000.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that would be a lot. That would be a lot. Oh, and we actually reached the number of questions every 5 minutes. Foolish Snow Muse asking, what got each of you into Resonite? Froox need not to answer. I will answer it. I made it. My body. It has formed around me.
Well, for me, I several years ago just kind of like I heard about it through some people inside of VR chat, and they were like, "Yeah, this is really neat," you know, like that. I love visiting this every once in a while. So I was like, "All right, yeah, I'll give it a shot too." And I hopped in with a friend of mine, and I joined like I think it was Ryuvi's world, a really old home world of Ryuvi's, and just hung out with a bunch of people there that were like super smart and doing all kinds of neat stuff, you know. And I, being like a programmer for a long time, I of course was geeking out over that, and I kind of just stuck. It just stuck.
Yay! And I'm part of the team.
Yeah, here I am.
Yay!
Yeah, I have a bit of a Gmod background, and
Oh yeah.
shout out to my buddy Conduit, or Mike, as I've known him, for bringing our little Gmod community over here. You also have him to thank for bringing over Ryuvi as well. And now we're both part of the team as well, so
Yay.
you know, it works out.
Scooping up all the people.
I still have the screenshot where I asked him, like, what's this game, Mike? What's this all about? What is this thing?
What is this? Anyway, we've got 2.5 minutes left, so
Probably, I'd say we're pretty much done.
yeah, pretty much done. There's like super quick ones, so I'm just gonna go Angel Boy, anime character, easy, just put ears on your head, done. Don't wanna be fluffy. I wanna have Snoot. Lawyerbot is asking, is Froox yellow? Yes. Ace on Twitch 17 is asking, how are you guys gonna be Derek's for the next week's stream? You'll have to wait and see. You know,
Yeah.
we said we had a plan for birds, and we had a plan for birds. We will have a plan for Derek's, but you know, that's part of the surprise. Is you'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I saw in chat that Angel Boy said they were going to make fully custom dragons for each of you by next week.
Oh yeah, just a completely, you know, new base from scratch model, like, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
I need to flap. Anyways, we got 2.5 minutes left. That's pretty much like, you know, all the questions I think we can do at this point. And I don't think so, and I don't see any like popping in. Angel Boy's protesting. But we should probably end the stream at this point. So thank you very much, everyone, you know, for joining the stream. Thank you for, like, you know, all the subs about the previous stream, and, you know, making us into birds, because it's gonna be like, you know, it is fun just like doing this kind of stuff. Literally like an hour before the stream, I just sat in a session. I imported like an image of like a toucan beak, I positioned like on the avatar, and then like, you know, I kind of drew this around this, and then I set up I just found like a PNG, like PNG of a feather and just set this out like to be like super janky, but it's kind of been fun just making this. And also like it's kind of interesting like because I never like done like method like that like where I drew something with a brush based on like a image reference, and I think that thing worked out okay. So I don't know. It's kind of fun doing it. I think it's kind of fun like doing this way, and like the subs like that help support the Resonite as well. Help support like our development, help support like keep the lights on and help pay people on the team. So thank you so much. Thank you also for like our questions. Thank you Gadley and Syra for like joining me for this one too.
Yeah.
Helping answer the questions, been like a lot of fun. And for making us Dereks as well for the next one. So we'll see.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And for everyone, like thank you so much, for like being here, like being part of the community, playing Resonite, supporting us, financially, making cool stuff on the platform, like talking about it on social media, like whatever like you do with Resonite, like it helps, and we thank you for it, and keeps like this project kind of going. So with that,
Stripe plug?
Yes, yeah, like God was like for the one like who implemented Stripe like largely. So if you're on Patreon, consider switching. Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you.
If you're on Patreon, consider switching to Stripe because we get like about 10% more from the same amount of money you pay. So we actually end up like with more money because Stripe takes a lot less than Patreon does. So that helps us a lot too. Oh my God. What is that? Thank you. We don't even have to do those anymore. We're already gonna be Dereks.
That's progress towards the next goal.
Yeah.
We don't even know what it is. But
TBD.
TBD. So the last thing, we have to figure out who to raid, because we like to raid someone. I saw like Creator Jam streaming, so I'm gonna send you over to Medra. So let's do raid Creator Jam. This is so smooth, and also for everyone who's been helping to test the pre-release and narrow bugs down. Thank you so much, because that's gonna help like bring us to the stage where now it's like it's stable. Pretty much stable, it's getting very close to release, and I kind of hope like we can hit it sometime next week. Stuff can still happen, but we'll try. It is very exciting. It's really weird because like it's been this thing like I've been thinking about for years that like wanted to do with the engine and finally, get rid of the shackles of mono. And I was here, we're on it, it's working. It feels like a little bit surreal, so
Stable enough for us to run a live stream on.
Yeah.
And have tons of particles. And I'm gonna send you over to Medra, so thank you again very much, and thank you for all the stamps and making us Dereks and helping us find a new business model too. I mean, like, not like that we're gonna replace things, but generally this kind of like helps because like it helps like fund the development, and it's a fun thing to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
And say hi to Medra for us. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
And I'm gonna stop streaming, stop recording.